show keeps the drama in play. Let's go, let's go, let's go. When the heroes rise and the legends grow, CJP brings the shots. You know, the EVP show is out of control. Let's go, let's go.
What is going on, everyone? It's the EVP from the EVP show, and I am back tonight for your WWE NXT recap. Obviously, I'm well rested after a long night last night, as I did a double header yesterday with the WWE Raw on Netflix recap at 9 p.m. last night, followed by the WWE LFG Season 2 Episode 9 recap, also that took place Sunday. Wasn't able to watch it, so I ended up watching it late after Heatwave, and so you got two shows last night. But we're here tonight to recap NXT. I tuned into NXT just a little bit late, so I caught it like just in time to be able to go live tonight. Oh man, NXT, I started watching it 4 or 5 months ago, and it for me right now, it has to be like up there with the top shows. Like it's definitely better than SmackDown, and I mean possibly also sometimes better than Raw itself. But the only thing about it is it's 2 hours and everything is just so action packed. So like you really got to be paying close attention to everything, and you can't take your eyes off the TV for a second. So obviously, like I said, it's an NXT recap. The commentator tonight for the show, obviously we're missing Corey Graves, who's usually there, but we did have Vic Joseph and the Hall of Famer Booker T as well. The ring announcer for tonight was Mike Rome, and then backstage we saw Sarah Schreiber. I don't think we saw Kelly tonight, but it's normally Kelly Kincaid is also backstage as well. So the show started off basically with the recap of what went down at NXT Heatwave. Obviously they showed the triple threat match for the number one contenders for the NXT Women's title, with Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, and Jada Parker. And obviously Lola Vice was victorious. And then they showed Dark State becoming the new NXT tag team champion, defeating Hank and Tank after a long 4-month run for Hank and Tank. And then they showed Chelsea Green and Ethan Page defeating Tyra May Steele and Tavion Heights. And then we had a new TNA Women's Knockout Champion win Ash by Elegance, which JC Jane did not get pinned, but Ash by Elegance is her new TNA Knockouts Division Women's Champion. She pinned Masha Slamovich. And then obviously we saw Obafemi defeat Javon Evans for the NXT to retain the NXT men's championship. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers the matches from Heatwave. It was a good show, solid card. So to kick off the show tonight, we had the Revolution, which was Ricky Saints. He comes out and he gives praise for Javon Evans on, because he was backstage at NXT at Heatwave telling Javon, like, this is going to be your night. You're going to be the new champion. So yeah, and then I think it was Booker T or Vic Joseph announced that, Javon left backstage from Heatwave after the main event, and was completely heartbroken. Saint said that he wanted to be the one to kick off NXT the right way. And with that being said, he wanted it to be the Ricky way. He said that everybody saw what happened at Heat Wave. Um, his money was on Javon, like I said before, but ultimately Obafemi came out victorious. He said he has been on this show for 6 months now. He's been the NXT North American champion. Um, he's had a lot of big matches, but he has not had that NXT championship match. And that's what he's coming for, to take that title off of Obafemi. He said it's impossible. He said he is calling it the impossible, calling his shot. So out comes Josh Briggs. He says, "You're not getting Obafemi." Josh Briggs tells Ricky Saints that it's just not happening. He said that he is sick of the outsiders. He's sick of people like Inamura. He's sick of people like Ricky Saints getting that shot. He said in order for Ricky to get that shot, he's going to have to go through him to be able to get that shot. He said he is going to be next in line. He said he is the elite in the position. And he said, if you don't like it, I will beat you down. And then obviously those two start to lock up. So they're about to throw blows. And Ava comes out and she says that no one has heard from Javon Evans since Heatwave. And they need a new number one contender for Obafemi's NXT championship. So she made the match official for tonight, which would be Josh Briggs going up against Ricky Saints, with the winner facing Obafemi at NXT No Mercy coming up in September. So I mean, yeah, that's a big match. So yeah, that I was thinking that was going to be the main event. But obviously they wanted the birthday girl to be in the main event tonight, which the birthday girl is Sol Ruka. So after Ava makes that match official for tonight, they show a flashback of what happened at the end of Heatwave. WWE posted it, and I talked about it last night on the LFG stream as well. Blake is talking about how she wants to be next in line to win that NXT Women's Championship, but she said that, not gonna happen. She said tonight you're gonna go. Kalani interrupts Blake, and so they make the match official for tonight. Is going to be Blake Monroe going up against Kalani Jordan. This match was very surprising for me. Obviously, I spoke on the NXT Heatwave recap, and even before that, that I felt like with everything that's going on with Jordan and the the stuff that was going on with Josh, her significant other, like she was probably going to be either written off or taken off of TV. But yeah, what a big surprise in this matchup for sure. So they do a Worlds Collide commercial, which that's going to be coming up on September the 12th. Before I keep going, obviously, thank you guys that are tuning in to the NXT recap tonight. We are live on my Facebook, on my YouTube channel, the EVP Show, and we're also live on my X. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm glad to see everyone. If you have anything you want to comment on the show tonight, obviously hit the comments. Also hit that like on the video, and yeah, would love to see some comments. Help the stream and the video get into that algorithm. So then after that, they do a commercial again for WrestlePalooza, which will be the first ESPN PLE coming up. It's going to be streaming live to the DTC, the direct to consumer, on September the 20th from Indianapolis, Indiana. That's WrestlePalooza. So we see Blake Monroe going up against Kalani Jordan. Started off as a really good matchup. Blake took control early. A couple of near falls with Blake. Um, Kalani went for a move that was countered by Blake Monroe into a submission. It's that same move that she applied. They said that she learned it over in Japan, in the New Japan promotion where she was wrestling over there. That armbar type submission. So she did apply that to Kalani. She used that a lot on Jordan Grace at Heat Wave. But then it was countered again. There was a side kick from Kalani Jordan. She did hit the handstand elbow to Blake and also a DDT to Blake, but Blake rolls out of the ring. And when she does, out comes Jordan Grace, the juggernaut. I personally thought Jordan was going to be written off of Heat Wave, but she's back, and it doesn't look like she is done with Blake Monroe. So interesting there. So when she comes out, Blake darts for the. She goes out the alleyway to the back, trying to get out of the ring of the arena, but Jordan, slams the door shut and basically chases Blake Monroe back into the ring. And Kalani Jordan hits the split-legged moonsault, which she calls the one of a kind, on Blake Monroe for the 1, 2, 3. So that's a big win for Kalani Jordan. Second time that she's pinned Blake since Blake's been up on NXT. So it looks like this Blake Jordan Grace feud is not over yet. So looking forward to see where they're headed with that. So we see a brief interview with Miles Bourne. He's talking about, like that, Lexus just doesn't get it. Like he is partially deaf, but he's not blind. So that's going to set up the match tonight for Miles Bourne going up against Lexus King in a blindfold match, which for me was very, very, very entertaining tonight. He said to Sarah Schreiber that his eyes are still a little blurry from getting sprayed by Lexus King. He said it's going to be a struggle for Miles said it's going to be a struggle for him tonight. He said he needs the fans. He is going to need the fan support to kind of guide Miles into Lexus during the match. He said he may be deaf, but he's going to be able to feed off of the fans' energy and noise. So we get into the match. Obviously, the last blindfold match on NXT was in 2020. So almost right at over 5 years, going on 6 years since the last blindfold match. So the match kicks off. Both have blindfold on. It's hilarious. It's kind of a funny match. They're kind of trying to lock up and they're missing each other. But Miles ends up getting being able to hit the power bomb on Lexus King. And after that, at one point, Miles is going from rope to rope, and he flies through, just completely flies through the ropes, like no idea where he's at. That was funny. It was funny, but it was just a big part of the match. Um, they're back in the ring, and Lexus King slams Miles Bourne, but he misses the elbow, and he also misses Miles then misses a knee drop. So he goes for another kick, but misses. Both are crawling around on the mat. I mean, this is a typical blindfold match. I can't see. Obviously, Miles is partially deaf, so he's he's counting on the NXT universe, which are chanting him on throughout this match, to kind of guide him to Lexus King. But towards the end of the match, the referee gets caught up in between Lexus King and Miles Bourne, and the referee is distracted. Obviously, Miles Bourne ends up pulling the blindfold off the top of his head and kicks Lexus King, I'm sorry, pulls the blindfold off of his head and kicks Miles Bourne low. And then he hits the shake, rattle, and roll. He pulls the blindfold back down. It's the shake, rattle, and roll coronation for the 1, 2, 3. Lexus King is your winner tonight of the blindfold match. So it was a pretty good match. Entertaining. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. So after that, we're gonna see Ren Dempsey and Charlie Sinclair in the back. She's freaking out. She says she doesn't, she's had 48 hours to find an opponent to go up against the Culling, which is Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. But Charlie Sinclair reassures her that he has found the perfect partner, and out comes Kendall Gray, who we saw a week or two ago on NXT, come from Evolve, and she looks really good in the ring. Kendall does tell Charlie that she's not doing this. Like, she slaps him on the chest. She said, "I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for Ren Sinclair." Charlie Dempsey just fell back, and here we go. So we're gonna have Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair going up, two members of the Culling. They're accompanied by the rest of the Culling, Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. And obviously she has that doll. The way Tatum looks at Izzy is just eerily creepy. I think. Yeah, Kendall said that she was there for Ren Sinclair, not Charlie Dempsey. So Kendall and Izzy start off the match. Kendall slams Izzy to hits a body slam on Izzy. Tatum is now in against Ren Sinclair. We see a bulldog by Ren. Tatum kicks Ren to Izzy, like it's a double team kick together. And Tatum is pounding Ren. Kendall comes in with a hot tag, flips, hits a belly to belly on Tatum in a double stomp. So kind of a back and forth match here. But ultimately the Cullen was just too much tonight, and Izzy Dame ends up hitting Izzy Dane ends up hitting her finishing move to defeat and get the pinfall over Ren. Oh, she rolled her up. I'm sorry, she didn't hit the finishing move. She rolled her up. Izzy Dane pins Ren Sinclair while Kendall had Tatum in submission. So what happened was Kendall put the submission hold on Tatum Paxley, but Izzy Dame was able to get the roll up win on Ren Sinclair before Tatum submitted. So the winners tonight, the Cullen, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley. So they start talking about the number one contender match with Ricky Saints going up against Josh Briggs. The winner will go on to face Obafemi in September in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at NXT No Mercy. This is a really good match. Saint starts off pushing Briggs into the rope, hits an elbow, then a kick by Saints. Briggs ends up hitting the Boss Man Slam on Ricky Saints. Saints is being overpowered at the moment, but when he's able to fire back, he goes up top, but he misses. He goes for the standing kick off the top. He misses, and Josh Briggs takes back control of the match. So Briggs goes up to the post. Before that, they go outside. Briggs tries to post Ricky Saints, tries to throw him into the post, but ultimately Saints reverses and throws Josh Briggs into the post. Saints climbs up, starts pounding Briggs. Snapmare cover for a 2 count. So Briggs is back up. He hits a big kick and then to the rope for a 2 count. And then he goes to Ricky Saints' neck as well for another 2 count. And Josh Briggs is back in control of the match. He hits an elbow again to Ricky Saints. Briggs starts taunting him. But Ricky Saints ends up coming back to life in the matchup. And he hits a splash. Gets a count of 2. It was a slow kick out right there. Fans start chanting for Ricky. Ricky then jumps out of the way from Josh Briggs' clothesline and starts chopping down Josh Briggs. He hits a shoulder blade and he turns it into a lariat and also a body slam for a 2 count on Josh Briggs. Then he also hits the super kick to Briggs. Ricky up top, but he is met by Josh Briggs up top. Briggs hip tosses him off the top and then hits the big boot to Ricky Saints for a 2 count. And then obviously he goes for the choke slam, but Ricky Saints counters with the step down. He steps down and counters under, able to counter that chokehold that Briggs had and hits Josh Briggs with a spear for a near fall. Briggs continues to taunt, as like I said, to taunt Ricky Saints, but ultimately at the end of the match, Briggs hits he hits his finishing move and Saints kicks out, but then Saints reverses another move and hits the tornado DDT for the 1, 2, 3. Ricky Saints defeats Josh Briggs tonight and becomes the number one contender for the men's NXT championship and will challenge Obafemi as September at the next pay-per-view for NXT. So that's definitely going to be a main event. Ricky Saints has not had at NXT No Mercy in September. He has not had a championship match yet. So is Ricky going to be the one? They keep talking about Javon. So I answered a few questions about that last night or on the NXT Heatwave recap where I think, that they're ultimately going to go back to Javon. We'll see, though. So Lola Vice is in the back with Sol Ruka and Zarya. This is obviously Sol Ruka's birthday. And they made Lola Vice a shirt. Sol and Zarya have matching shirts on for Sol's birthday. And now Lola Vice, who is the number one contender for JC Jane's NXT title, also has one of the matching shirts. So then Jada Parker comes into the in the area with them. She says she's not here to start trouble. She wants to give props to Lola, saying that she shined tonight and basically wishing her luck in her title match against JC Jane. But as the story keeps progressing, as I've been talking about over the last two recaps and after Heatwave, Lash Legend comes in and Lash Legend says, "Oh, you become humble with taking all these L's." And then Jada Parker fires back with, "You took the L to Naya." So it's just kind of the back and forth with them two. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Lash comes back out, said that the loss humbled, and so yeah. But then they flash back into the ring after Ricky won, and Ricky Saints said that he is coming for Oba Femi. Um, Oba comes out and he starts. You can see him walking like from the backstage, which they call Gorilla on WWE. Doesn't really like Gorilla, but he's walking to the ring. Oba comes out and he tells Ricky Saints tells Obafemi that the reign of terror is is over. That the grind of being the NXT champion is taking its toll, and Ricky Saints is going to be the one to overcome the ruler. Oba said that it's not going to happen, and that every single person that stepped up to Oba, he ends up showing them that he makes them average. He said that they may call Ricky Saints absolute, but after NXT No Mercy, they are going to call him absolutely mediocre. So that's kind of like the start of the build up. So then we hear Dark State's music hit. Dark State, like I said, I think they're building them up to be this super huge dominant faction on NXT. They did win the tag titles, and so they get on the mic and they tell Oba and Ricky, like, look, like, we may be the tag champions, but that's not the only title. We're taking all the titles over in NXT. And then they tell Ricky Saints and Obafemi they have one or two choices. They can either leave the ring or Dark State will make them leave the ring. And Ricky said he chooses option two for Dark State to bring their ass down there and they can make them leave the ring. So Dark State comes in, starts attacking Ricky and Oba. Out comes Hank and Tank. And Hank and Tank and Oba and Ricky clean house and clear the ring of Dark State, and they stand tall, which is going to lead to something next week, obviously, that both Hank and Tank and Dark State have asked for. So they talk about the speed title coming to NXT, how it's a 5 minute match in length, but you got to be able to survive the speed tournament, and the matches in the speed tournament are only 3 minutes. You have to be able to win 2 matches in order to get to that championship match for that speed championship. The men's and the women's speed titles are now on NXT. So Ava comes out and she makes a. They show where Ava made the announcement that the speed titles are going to be headed to NXT, and she said the matchups or the people that are going to be competing in this 4-person tournament is Candice LeRae from SmackDown, Laney Reed from NXT, Bobby Apache from AAA, and Zaya, I think it's Zaya Brookside, yeah, from TNA. Zaya Brookside from TNA. So next week on starting September 2nd, the tournament's going to commence. Next Tuesday, we're going to see Zaya Brookside take on Candice LeRae. And then obviously after that, we will see Laney Reed from NXT go up against Bobby Apache. I don't know if it's going to happen next week, but that will be the other semifinal match with the two winners meeting each other. But ultimately, whoever wins that match will go on to NXT No Mercy, where they will meet Sol Ruka for the Speed title. After that, we see Chelsea Green, seeing her again on NXT, loving that. It seems like they don't really have much right now for Chelsea. Like, obviously, the Secret Harvest is going to face Charlotte and Alexa for the tag titles on SmackDown, but Chelsea's traveling back and forth, working NXT, showing up at the SmackDowns. So Chelsea's putting that work in. It's good to see. But yeah, so we see Chelsea Green, Ethan Page, and we also see Alba Fire and Piper Niven, the Secret Harvest. So tonight in action, we're going to see Alba Fire from Secret Harvest going up against Tyra May Steele, who is getting another big match. Like I said, I don't think it hurt Tyra and Tavion. Obviously, Tyra is accompanied by Tavion Heights as well tonight. I don't think it's hurting. It didn't hurt Tyra at all to take that pinfall to Chelsea Green. And like I said, the other night after the Heatwave recap, Tavion didn't take the pin, so it can ultimately lead to that Tavion versus Ethan Page for that men's North American NXT North American title. So we get Alba Fire and Tyra May Steele. They announced again that we're going to see No Mercy on Saturday, September 27th from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And the two matches set for that as of now will be Ricky Saints as the number one contender, challenging Obafemi for the NXT Men's Championship, and Lola Vice, who is on an absolute tear right now, going up against JC Jane for the NXT Women's title. So Tyra comes out with Tavion Heights. Tyra immediately hits a slap and a back body drop, and then she does a leg whip to Alba. And she does the roll around where she just rolls around the ring. One of Tyra May Steele's most famous moves from LFG. Then she turns it into a bow and arrow to Alba Fire. Alba comes out of it, hits a back elbow. Back elbows Tyra May to the outside. Chelsea almost got caught in the crossfire, but Alba ends up doing a suicide dive to the outside, taking out Tyra May Steele. Alba was, and I didn't know this because, like I said, I just started watching NXT about 4 months ago, but Alba Fire was 650 days as NXT North American champion. That is a crazy run for Alba Fire. So she's highly regarded as a big talent. That's crazy. So she hits the stomp to Tyra May Steele. And then we see a DDT applied as well. She kicks out. So she goes for the ankle lock on Alba Fire. Ethan Page tries to distract the referee, but ends up getting his fingers stomped by Tyra May Steele. And Tyra May Steele ends up rolling Alba Fire for the 1-2-3 win. Tyra May Steele gets the win tonight over Alba Fire, which is a huge win for Tyra May Steele. I love seeing that. like I said, it did that match at Heat Wave. It did not hurt her. So definitely a big win um for Tyra May tonight. But after the match, we see Chelsea come in and attack Tyra May. But then she goes for a slap on Tavion Heights. Obviously, she doesn't get that slap. There's a block, but from behind, Ethan Page comes up from behind Tavion and hits him with the North American Championship, and he hits he hits his finisher on Tavion Heights, and he covers Tavion Heights up with the Canadian flag, and all ego Ethan Page, Chelsea Green, and the Secret Harvest stand tall after the match. So I think we're building towards maybe a Chelsea Tyra singles match. Piper may end up facing Tyra next. She may have to go through the whole Secret Harvest before she gets to Chelsea. But it looks like we're setting up for a Ethan Page title defense against Tavion Heights. Could happen at No Mercy. That's the way it looks like to me. So we see Hank and Tank in the back with Ava, and they tell Ava they want a rematch with Dark State, and they want it now. Ava said, just hold your horses. I understand. Dark State wants the same thing, but not exactly that. Dark State wants all four of you. So next week on NXT, we are going to see the four members of Dark State take on Hank and Tank and Obafemi and Ricky Saints. So that should be a big match next week on NXT. So we got a commercial and we get another Unreal clip showing Cody Rhodes. Talked about this several different times about how he's pulling up to the arena, how he's nice to the John Cena fans and all of that. So we're getting ready for the main event, which is a 6-woman tag with Sol Ruka, Zarya, and Lola Vice going up against Fatal Influence, which I absolutely love. Fatal Influence's theme music, like their intro music. I love it. Like I love it, love it, love it. That's JC Jane, Jasmine Nix, and Fallon Henley. But before that, they go backstage with Fatal Influence, and Fallon Henley is talking about how the Speed title is coming to NXT and how she is going to capture that from Sol Ruka. JC Jane said that she is going to retain. That Fatal Influence said they're going to get back on top, and they're going to bring more titles into Fatal Influence. And then they look at Jasmine Nix and like, well, what are you gonna do? So we can start to see the dissension maybe of Fatal Influence. I'm thinking maybe Jasmine Nix is going to end up being the reason that JC Jane loses that NXT title, or could she be the one that possibly takes the title off of her? I doubt it. I think that Lola is going to beat her at No Mercy, but I think Jasmine Nix may play a part in that for sure. So like I said, next week we're going to see Candice LeRae going up against Zaya. It's going to be a SmackDown versus TNA match. And then obviously we'll have the next two, I guess, the following week. And then the winner will be maybe the NXT before No Mercy. And whoever wins this 4-person tournament will face Sol Ruka for the NXT, now the NXT Speed Championship, which it was the WWE Speed Championship. So they announced that it's official for next week. The 8-man tag is going to be Dark State versus Obafemi, Ricky Saints, and Hank and Tank. So a lot of leftovers happening from Heatwave. So we get to the main event. Lola Vice, the birthday girl, Sol Ruka, and Zarya out first, with Fatal Influence coming out next. Jasmine Nix, Fallon Henley, and Jacy Jane. Before that, we get to commercial. They show that Clash in Paris. If you guys are not aware, Clash in Paris pre-show will be at 12 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. That's the pre-show with the big show starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. Big card. 5 matches announced for that so far. Looking for a 6 to be announced after SmackDown Friday. So Fallon and Soul start the match. They talk about the Soul's the birthday girl. Soul is hits an attack on Fallon Henley. She kicks her. Then Jasmine Nix is in. Soul Ruka hits a drop kick on her, and then the front face slam and back kick by Soul. Soul is, for me, she's the top women's wrestler on NXT right now. She has it all. She tags it quick tag to Zarya. They hit a double team move on Jasmine Nix. So Zarya is back in control of Jasmine, and Zarya hits the clothesline off the top rope. They asked Big Joseph asked Booker T what he got Soul Ruka for his birthday, and he's like, "Well, I didn't get her anything. Like, I'm not her boyfriend. Like, just funny stuff there." They're talking about so we get Lola Vice in versus Jacy Jane, which we'll see at No Mercy. Lola is on a roll. They talk about how Jacy Jane's focus has to be off from Heat Wave. Lola puts a submission, but Jacy reverses it and hits a big clothesline. Fallon Henley comes in to attack Lola, and Lola ends up kicking out of the 2 count and ends up getting the hot tag to Soul Ruka. Soul Ruka comes in, hits the surfboard on Fallon Henley, which I love that move. She's like surfing across. Soul Ruka is like top notch. Probably my favorite women's wrestler in NXT right now. But Jacy Jane they end up going to the outside. Jacy Jane ends up hitting a kick to Soul on the outside. You can see Lainey Reed. She's watching this from the stands. She's keeping a close eye on this because obviously she's going to have a matchup against the lady from AAA, the other semifinal match, and she could possibly be facing Soul Ruka for that NXT Speed Championship at No Mercy. We'll see. They showed Lainey Reed twice, so maybe that's a breadcrumb. They're still battling outside. JC's taking it to Soul on the outside, but Zarya just comes around and just spears Jacy Jane from the outside. Zarya taking over for sure. She comes in, she puts she does the front plant to Jasmine Nix, and Soul Ruka goes up top and hits the splash. So mayhem is starting to break loose in the ring. All 6 women are down in the ring. So to close this match out, like I said, it was kind of a free-for-all from there. But Lola, so Jacy hits her finishing move, but Lola Vice ends up hitting the Soul Snatcher on Fallon Henley. The birthday girl secures the victory for the 1, 2, 3. And the winners of the match and the main event is Lola Vice, Soul Ruka, the NXT North American champion, and the NXT Speed champion on the women's side, and Zarya. Next week, it's really been a bad week for Fatal Influence. So at the end, you see all 3 ladies kind of dancing around in the ring, just having a good old time. So yeah, shaping up to be a good NXT No Mercy PLE next week. Obviously, we're going to see Dark State going up against Obafemi and Ricky Saint and Hank and Tank. So that pretty much sums up NXT for tonight. It was, I don't know, for me it was a solid 8. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I think that every week, NXT just gets better and better and better. So yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Just a couple other things I want to go over with you guys. So like I said, we got that big matchup set up for next week. So definitely looking forward to that and what to come. NXT's next PLE. We got 2 big matches already announced, and that's going to be JC Jane defending against Lola Vice, and we're going to also see Owafemi defend against Ricky Saints. So that's it tonight for the NXT recap. I do want to thank everybody that has been watching live on Facebook and on my YouTube channel, the EVP Show, and also live on X. I am going to leave you guys with my outro video and my thank you for all of you guys tuning in tonight. A kind of small crowd tonight. I don't know. It must be another bunch of YouTubes going on, space, something like that. But thank you to the people that have showed up. So I'll be back to show you where you can find me on my socials and what's coming up next for me this week.
CJP's your guide, let's start the show. Tag teams breaking, factions shaking. He's got the scoop on moves they're faking. Belt on the line, dreams on display. The EVP show keeps the drama in play. It's good. Let's go where the heroes rise and the legends grow. CJP brings the shots, the EVP show, it's out of control.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that outro video. I love that let's go at the end. It kind of gets me fired up. Thank you guys again for showing up or tuning in to my NXT recap. So you can find me on my socials on X at EVPCJP, obviously on Instagram at EVPCJP as well, and most importantly, the YouTube channel is at the EVP Show in all capitals. Please hit that like on the video, and also, if you go back and watch the stream tonight, comment what you thought of the show. Let me know. That way, it puts it into the algorithm for the stream. So I'm much appreciative of that. Also, you can find me on TikTok at Brady DA Goat 21. So, and obviously Facebook, CJ Perry. So that's pretty much it for me tonight. What I have to come for the rest of the week. I'm going to be off tomorrow and Thursday. Sorry about that. Not really sure what the immediate plans are for the rest of the week. There is going to be a Clash in Paris prediction show at some point this week. Not quite sure the date on that yet. And then I'll be back sometime. I know SmackDown's on early Friday, so I will be back with the SmackDown recap Friday night. Probably let's say 10:30 p.m. Eastern as normal for the SmackDown recap. And then after that, I will be back Sunday for the Clash in Paris recap. I don't know what time yet, maybe 7 p.m., maybe 8 p.m., something like that. We will go over the WWE Premium Live event Clash in Paris. And then later on that night at 11:30 p.m., I'll be doing a double duty on Sunday. I will be back with the LFG recap. So thank you again to everybody that tuned in. Make sure to like and subscribe to the EVP Show YouTube channel. I am the EVP, and I will see you guys Friday for the SmackDown recap, and probably before that, probably on the same day for the Clash in Paris predictions. That being said, I'm the EVP from the EVP Show. Make sure you love one another and be kind to one another. And thank you. And I am out for tonight. Thank you, guys.